opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. I represent Bahamian people. I from Nassau, Bahamas, big up Baytown, bro. Where I from Baytown, bro. Right between West and Augusta, where them two roads meet, they call it Wilkinson Street. Manners and respect was like a sign blank check. It seems the ones that come in after quick to disrespect. You see, this life in the ghetto never easy. So many hungry days break till it grieve me. Way I doing the best I can, trying to turn my dollar to 100 grand. I represent the ghetto people. I from Nassau, Bahamas, big up Baytown, bro. Where I from Baytown.
Good night, Bahamas, and welcome to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. I'm your host, Valentino, aka Scrooge, or Daddy, host of the talk show Inside the Inner City that premieres every Friday at 6:30 to 8 p.m. Telephone numbers tonight are 323-6232, 325-4316, and 325-4259. And I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in on a wonderful Friday. I know it's the weekend. I want you also to enjoy yourself as much as possible. You work hard, you deserve it. And try to enjoy yourself as much as possible. Also, try to get home safely if you're driving. If you're going to the nightclubs tonight, try to avoid any type of conflict because, you know, we are simple-minded people. It doesn't take a lot for us to go from 0 to 100 because of the stress and survival in our country. So I just want to say, you know, to each and every one of you, thank you again for listening. I think today we're going to have a wonderful show. I'm going to try my best to see how I'm going to fit in some of the topics I want to talk about. I know some of you want to hear from the recent incidents that happened around the country, basically the shooting. I'll try to see if I can comment on it. There were some remarks made by Dr. Carlos Reed concerning one particular young gentleman who lost his life, who was alleged to be a particular gang leader. I want to comment on that. You know, it's two sides to the story, so I just want to make sure that we can understand where Mr. Reed is coming from, because I can understand where he's coming from, you know, so I want to explain it quite clearly for everyone so they can understand when he talked about certain aspect of the person who lost their life, and condolences to the family. I know that losing a loved one is, you know, it just, you know, you can't explain it, you know, and you know, just my condolences goes out to basically everyone this year who has lost a loved one through homicide or some true type of violence, and especially to the family of kids who lost their life in the fire recently. I want to comment on that as well. So I'm going to try explain it the best way I can, as best as possible. But I also want to talk about, what else? I also wanted to talk about some other event happening around the country. So we're going to begin the show on the comment made just recently. There was candidates who were rectified under the Free National Movement. And the Free National Movement, under the leadership of the opposition leader, the Honorable Michael Pintard, gave out their 10-point plan if they were elected as the government of the country. And here we have the government of the country today under the leadership of the of Philip Brave Davis, the leader of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and also the leader of the Progressive Labour Party. And his response to the 10-point plan that Michael Pintard was saying that, you know, it's a part of their strategy that they already have in place, and that he's glad that the opposition, you know, has mention it because it's their plan. So it's glad to see that both opposition and government understand that the program that the PLP has brought forward is the right plan, and that the FNM is only taking points out of it. So it was a PLP 10-point plan to deal with crime. It's a back and forth, which in my tenure, this plan that I've heard that has been mentioned from my days as a guy on the streets, these were some of the same suggestion. The only thing is that we keep on spinning the circle, and every time one particular government gets in, they start it, then one particular government comes and they cancel it or they do a little part of it and they never continue it. So we go right back to square one when a new government comes back in power and they look at some of the results that were made by the initiative that was set forward probably in a previous administration or board administration, and see it makes sense. But like I say, it's a back and forth. We're a divided nation, and we saying we can't get it right. And once it gets coming to around election, and when serious incidents that threaten the lives of Bahamians who are frequently walking, traveling, working hard, earning an honest living, and then we have criminal elements around the country that are startling and making a lot of Bahamians afraid to go out on the streets to even enjoy themselves for working hard all week. So a lot of Bahamians, are fearful, and we need to really put a dent in the crime aspect. We're not going to get rid of all the crimes. We're not going to get rid of murder. Murder is something that has been embedded in us for the last 50-something years. It has increased over the years. The Bahamas population has gotten larger. A lot of Bahamians have gotten poorer. The family structure has been destroyed. And we have the plans, we have the initiative, we have the programs. But are we going to mobilize? Means, are we going to be consistent with these initiatives? Are we going to continue and understand what the initiative is all about? It has to be a national initiative that goes beyond government. It has to be for the Bahamian people. So I just want to play the clip from the Prime Minister in response of the opposition, Michael Pintock, giving a 10-point plan to crime in response to the latest shooting of a gang leader, which in my estimate, I'd say in the last 15 years, and I'd say in the last 10 years alone, you know how much gang leaders have got killed in this country alone? And I could go in names and detail. Many gang leaders have got killed in this country. Some of you wouldn't even know they were gang leaders because they were not known out there. But in the streets, we know who they are, So there were a lot of gang leaders who got killed. This year, last year before. I'm talking top guys. And when looking at the numbers of this particular individual who lost his life, they're saying that that crew has an estimated of 100 members of that particular gang. Back in our days, we had hundreds under our disposal. So there's a slight decline. It's just that gangs have decreased in small numbers and space. It's not nationwide. So you're not going to have the full effect on the country, just in between that click and incident. And it may spill over in how loyal people were, how much they love him. Some people fear you. Be your friend, but they actually your enemy. It's a dirty, dirty game, after I play this clip. And then we're going to get what's made by Dr. Carlos Reed, which I highly respect. But I just want to add something. Chris, could you play the clip for me, please? We have a little technical difficulty. It's a clip that was made previous by. Okay.
Prime Minister Philip Davis has dismissed the Free National Movement's recently unveiled 10-point crime plan as a rehash of the Progressive Liberal Party's strategy.
I thank them for reminding me of our plans. It's a regurgitation what we have already been saying over the many, many years. I think I could go back as far as July, I suspect July, um, will be July 2011, when we put out a crime plan. And it seemed to be just a plagiarism of that.
The FNM's plan, unveiled on Sunday, outlines 10 key initiatives: hiring and retaining more police officers, restoring trust in law enforcement, expanding community policing, modernizing the force, clearing court backlogs, updating legislation tackling bail abuse, enhancing rehabilitation for offenders and victims, investing in prevention, and reviving communities. In response, Prime Minister Davis noted that many of these measures mirror the PLP's own comprehensive crime plan, which was launched last year amid a surge in homicides. That plan is built on 5 strategic pillars: prevention, policing, prosecution, punishment, and rehabilitation.
But we welcome the fact that he's able to embrace what we have said, and we welcome the fact that will be pursuing the same issues and the same initiatives that we have laid out for the issue of dealing with the crime problem we have.
The Prime Minister's remarks come in the wake of a deadly shooting in western New Providence on Monday night. According to police, officers on routine patrol shortly before 8:30 p.m. discovered a white Dodge Ram fully engulfed in flames on Munnings Road off Gladstone Road. Nearby, a gray Chevy Colorado was found with bullet holes, and a 37-year-old man was seen lying unresponsive beside the driver's side with multiple gunshot wounds. EMS personnel responded and pronounced the man dead. Prime Minister Davis says the incident underscores the need for heightened vigilance and more intensive saturation patrols in crime hotspots.
The fight continues, and the event of last night has raised the bar for vigilance and further saturation in areas where we think hotspots might spring up because of that incident last night. And I think the police will be meeting the task of ensuring that there be no outbreak as best they can.
Yeah, and that is my topic. The Prime Minister talked about revitalization, community policing, prevention, backlogging, etc. For me, I've sit down to the table for many, many years, and I've said these things to different administration over the years. And to be honest, it's just a spin cycle. The Prime Minister is dead wrong. He talked about this new initiative. This initiative was already there. It's just that they forget. They forget. They forget that these initiatives they are overwhelmed with so much different initiative. They cannot remember, cannot focus. So when matters of importance as initiative that could actually be successful and operational on a timely basis in the country will not be given the day. Wouldn't be given. It just wouldn't. It would never be the priority, because the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister, they, from one thing to the next thing, they have a whole country to run. They are dealing with international matters. They get close to about $4 billion invested here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas on the Family Island airports, new hotel in Freeport, $200 million for a new project here. So they got billions invested in the country. They're traveling to CARICOM, they're traveling to the United States, they're traveling to Vatican City. So, what's important, really important, like matters of crime, which you see, they talk about the 10-point plan that covers crime. Because in there, especially with the revitalization, is very important. Community policing is very, very important, okay? Prevention is very important, okay? They talk also about punishment, okay? That's the last step. But I want to talk real quick on the incident that a lot of people are talking about, but the young gentleman lose his life. They said that he was a gang leader and that, they don't have all the information concerning it, it's still being investigated. So I can't really talk on the matter as yet, but just if we talking a little street talks on the streets, and many people on the streets feel that, probably it was his friends who took him out because, of the situation happening, because, being involved in gangs, you got to be very careful when you use the top dog. There's a lot of betrayal coming with it too, especially what type of leader you is. Are you a leader who takes advantage of your soldiers, or your right-hand man? Are you treating them fairly? Are you talking to them bad? Because there's respect. When guys love you with respect, that's how you treat them, then with respect or fair, because you have some leaders who would actually, brutalize their soldiers. That's what we call them, soldiers. You take advantage of them, but in some cases, these soldiers out there, after a while, they get stronger because they start to do their own shooting. They take hits from you. They do what you say, and then you got to be very, very careful of friendship. I could speak for his hand on it. Friends betray you. They get jealous of you. And I'm just going to tell you an instance, because the police mentioned it. So I can tell you about the incident with me personally. I started to go into a different field. And if I didn't hear it with my own ears and see it with my own eyes, I would get stabbed in the back from friends who I trusted, who I loved, and never did nothing to them wrong but to protect them when they got in problem. So I want to show you about gangs, and you got to be very careful being in the gang. Guys who go there and hurt people or involved in illegal activity where they hang together can never hang together for a long period of time before they fall out, okay? There's always going to be a fallout when you involved in a gang, okay? There will be fallout, okay? Through time, there will be a fallout. Friends who go, then you call it riding, and they go, they shoot up people, and they get shoot at themselves, they go against one another. So let me just give you a quick story with myself, real quick, and then I'm going to continue the conversation. And this is what got me not taking friendship serious no more and got myself out of gangs because of my friends. So we all grew up. Chucky, Mouche, Chucky still is living. James Shaw still is living. Samuel Mouche McKenzie, he is dead. Ewell Smith is Mouche's brother. He got killed. He was a gang leader. Chucky was a gang leader. Ewell was a gang leader. Mouche was a gang leader. I was a gang leader. And Mouche, Ewell, them were dealing with taking over the inner city community, like what's going on in the country now. They wanted everyone to sell drugs for them. If you don't sell drugs for them, you're in problems. You could get robbed, or someone would send someone to come and rob you and kill you. Or tell you if you ain't selling drugs for them, it's all over. So I was selling my own crack cocaine, and I was doing very well for myself, because then I started to separate myself. Started to say, this gang thing ain't working. Because it was done dangerous, it got very dangerous. This way it gets so dangerous, everyone started to rethink it now, because you had so many guys coming at you from so many different gangs who were just like you, shooting at you and trying to kill you wherever you go, just as well as you're trying to kill them. So this made you start to think. And then you got pressure from the police, a lot of pressure from the police. So you couldn't live a peaceful life, You're ducking from guys, you're ducking from the police, and you're trying to sell drugs, and the police coming to the drug enforcement unit coming to check you on a regular basis. So your life was complicated, but I was doing fairly well with myself selling drugs. And this is not no point I'm trying to prove to be bad on it. This is the point I'm trying to say how this business go about being in gangs and dealing with drugs, and how your friends could turn on you, all right, for no particular reason. So I started to sell my little package, $5 package. Making me like a little, anywhere in the week time, I can make me like a little $3,000, $2,500 or $3,000 on a weekly basis, right? So I'm doing good. So these guys, my boys, them was taking over. So we in the back of the yard sitting down. And like I tell you, we started to separate because, like I say, we couldn't hang together no more because we were too big. I couldn't hang around Chucky no more because he was, can't give me no orders. No, I couldn't give him no orders, and he couldn't give me no orders. I couldn't give Mooch no orders. He couldn't give me no orders. We reached a point where we were on a level we feel we couldn't take orders from one another no more. Okay, this is what it comes to in gang. Everyone believe this the boss or they believe this the boss. And not me in my particular incident. I just want to be on neutral grounds, but just the way how things go when you're dealing with violence. Violence has a way of turning on you. I don't care who he is. Look at all the gang leaders in the country who have gotten killed. I can name them. All right? So anyway, I in the back of the yard. Me and my boy, Aston Adley, Aston Adley got killed last year in the Starving and what's the area is now? Oh, shoot. Not in Stapleton. Aston Adley, he was a good friend of mine, and he got killed from a gentleman in, and anyway, South Beach. And me, him, and my cousin were in the back of the yard. So saw these 3 figures, one is still living. I saw these 3 figures in the yard, right? So I thinking, you had to be very careful back in the days. Because once nightfall, you had guys roaming the streets with guns. You had to be careful. Different gangs walking around, they looking to see their victim and looking to rob and all this stuff. So you got to be careful, especially if you're selling the drugs. Because guys could creep up on you and that would be it for you. So anyway, sitting on the back of the yard, you see 3 figures come with 3 camouflage jacket. So I thinking that's the police. So they scramble, right? So I scrambled. I got a .357 Magnum on me because I had a barreled gun. And we jump over the back fence. Me, Sugarless, and my cousin, man, living today. We jump over the back fence. We thought that was the police. So stashed the gun on the side, underneath one old car, put it on the tire. So now, you peeping now because you're laying on the bush. And you looking. So I said, but that ain't the police, I said, but these look like the niggas coming to rob. Because they got one guy named Harry Butler who was selling crack cocaine in the front part of the yard. And me and him was cool. And I see the guys, them get 3 guns on him, So I say, but I ain't the police. I say, that's niggas coming to rob Harry. So I went, I go on back to the car. Because, I said that was the police. So I put the gun 60 feet away from me so that they find us. They won't find the gun because we be in 60 feet, so they only search a certain perimeter. So I went and I got the gun, jumped back over the fence, standing by the edge of the wall. And that's why, for you guys out there who, with friends, who you think is your friends, they can stab you in the back. All right? People who you never do nothing, who you do no wrong, but just show you in the feel of that brotherly love, that friendship, and you guys doing selling y'all drugs or in this clique of gang, what you so-called gang and this brotherly love, there's a lot of envious, jealousy, come with it. So anyway, all I could see the 3 guns. So I creep by the back wall, I peep, and then I gonna see if I could catch their face, because you see them get 3 guns. So you just can't go and run up on them, So I peep, trying to see who their face is, right? Because we down the hallway. They was in the hallway. So when I listen to the voice, just the thing when I listen. So when I listen to the voice, my friend Will Smith and my next friend Samuel Mushy McKenzie, but Mushy didn't say nothing. But Will, who I used to hang with, and this is not saying nothing bad with nobody. I'm just trying to show you about friendship. Friendship is a very serious thing. People who you love will betray you. So I started to listen. The guys saying, yeah, Harry. They telling Harry, say, listen, you can't sell no more drugs around here. If you sell any drugs around here, it could be a problem. You understand? Closing you down, all right? And when they mean it, these them dangerous guys. They mean business. So I say, man, what about Scoochie? And I tell you people, I down the hallway, and these my friends. Only two I start selling my own drugs and doing good for myself, and I hang in the crew no more. I hear this with my own friends the most. Who I never did them nothing wrong but defend them. You understand? I hear my friend them say, the hell with Scoochie. We ain't the Scoochie. Scoochie play around. We deal with them too. You get me? So when I hear that my cousin man was there and Shigalus was there, they look at me and say, but you see that? So I walk down the hallway and I approach them with my gun and their gun. They had 3 guns. I ain't calling the next person, but two brothers. And the one who's living today. When they see me coming down the hallway, they all out. Where's the man, Scoochie? I said, what you mean? Like what? I said, boy, don't tell me no man, Scoochie, nothing. I say, I hear everything you all say out your mouth. No man, we ain't mean it like that, man. We just trying to show the niggas thing. I said, but I hear exactly what you all say. You all threaten Harry, and you all threaten me. You know? I tell the one who's living today, and I say, but you, I can't believe it. You know, hearing it from you. You know? Then I look at my boy, Yul, who's now deceased. And I say, you surprised me. I say, I saved your life that day. You know, this is the same guy when he got knocked out. Someone knocked him out and was going to beat him to death. Okay? A guy named Dickens, he's the big boss in Mason Edition. He had a one-on-one. And Dickens ended up getting the leverage on him and knocked him out. And Dickens going to sit on him. And, you know, so I had to interrupt him from, you know. So, and then Mouche, me and Mouche was like this. So the two of those guys, me and Mouche was the coolest because me and Mouche grew up together. In fact, I teach Mouche a lot of stuff when it comes to dealing with firearms and about having nerve and stuff like that because I was very nervy. I've been on the streets way before these guys, to me, understand? They saying the only one who been on the streets same time as me is probably James Charles. All us been in the streets at the same time. But, you know, we had a little more experience because where I live by the Capitol Hotel. So I said, Mouche. Then I saw Mouche. Mouche is now deceased as well. So I said, you surprised me. I say, how you could be here with these niggas plotting on me when you always come to me and ask me for a couple dollars, you know? And I tell them our friendship dead from that day. From that day, I never hang with none of those guys no more. You know what I mean? I never in a nightclub, and when I go to the club, I never speak to them no more. I just hear them. If they try to come to me to do any type of business, I say, I ain't into that. You understand? Your friends. Your friends are the ones who take you. And when you in that gang thing, hatred and jealousy, I don't care how top a killer you is. All right? You would have some type of falling out. Either it could be over girl, money, or something. So it's best for guys out there who are in that field to get out. You know, to get out and try and make something of yourself, okay? Let me name some of the gang leaders who I know got killed over the years. Dang Dog from Nassau Village. You had Samuel Musha McGinsey in Grandstand. You had Maron Mortimer, who used to run the Gun Dogs, deceased. You had Ben Boy, who is the father of Ben Boy, who also got killed, was one of the leaders of both the Gun Dogs, and he was cross H Street as well. Both got killed. Ben Boy. You had Choo Choo, got killed. You know, you had, man, you had Julian Woodside, got killed. You know, you had Ian Irie, big boss Ian Irie, got killed. You had K. Moss, top leader, got killed. You know, you had Ben, who used to run Freeport as one of the biggest drug dealers in Nassau Province, got killed. You had Sean Isaac, he didn't get killed yet, but he got killed in Jamaica. You understand? So there's you had Emperor, Foxhill, Big Boss Man, huh? Got killed on the highway. You can't make it. Listen to me, y'all youngsters, you can't make it, brother. You know? You can't make it. You can't make it. I, myself, being involved in a gang, and one of the leaders of the Border Boys, I've been shot at over 26, 27 times from different people in other gangs. You know? So what you do, the people will come back to you. So, let me get back to the topics. I just trying to say, your friends. So that incident, when I look at it, I say, boy, the boys must get him, you know? The boys must get him, you know? And that's how it is, you know? And then you listen to some of the reports. Some of the investigators, you know, was talking about, I don't know if this young man did some of the things he did, but based on some of the social media in response to him losing his life, in between there, you could see where people were celebrating, especially in prison. They were celebrating the life, the death of this individual, you know. And then Dr. Carlos Reed, he was talking in the newspaper and the media, and he made a comment stating that, you know, this young individual, you know, he was in close contact with him. And I understand where Mr. Reed coming from, and Mr. Reed made a point to say, well, he talked with him. He said that this individual said that the police, you know, were harassing him, and the police charged him with things that he had no knowledge with, and this caused problems for him, you know. And he said the police was randomly targeting him, you know. And many people question that why Mr. Reed, as a Christian, would want to take the side of a guy who was not convicted in court of no offenses, but street talk, getting locked up numerous times for matters, would take up for him. You know, Mr. Reed is partially right when he said that, you know, police target you and that sometimes they charge you for things that you didn't do. But this comes with it. You know, the police, in my knowledge, the police would never go and target an innocent person, okay, on a regular basis. Means they keep on targeting you, keep on targeting you, keep on targeting you, keep on targeting you. No, they don't do that. The police are rude, and if you're a good citizen, you could probably get pulled over once or twice, and they, you know, abuse their power. But for what Mr. Reed is trying to explain, I'm going to explain that, you know, he talking about the constant locked up. See, what has happened is that you have to have yourself involved in some type of illegal activity for the police to come at you every day. All of us who I call, who are still living and who passed away, we were targeted by police because we were involved in illegal activities. Okay, and the police got information that we were involved in illegal activities, and they had the information because the information come from our friends and people in the community who telling the police and giving them information where our whereabouts is, and et cetera, what we were doing. The police go off information. Now they do abuse it. Okay? So in this case, y'all, I understand where Mr. Reed is coming from, but the police is not going to target a particular individual, especially a high accused profile individual on a regular basis unless they have credible evidence this person is involved in drugs, firearms, and gang activities. And that include murder, attempted murder, you know, plots of assassination, and etc. And that's how we were labeled. Me and Chucky and Mouche and all of us, and Kelsey Lundy and all of us who were in gangs, you know, we were trying. So we got labeled that. So we got a task force put on us, and everywhere we went, the police would come check us like every 2-3 times a week. So you have to be very careful on how you move about in the country, because sometimes you could be moving the gun, but you don't know the police looking for you. You understand? But you as a guy who involved in illegal activity, you should be expecting the police to come and hit you up every time, because you're a guy who dealing with legal activities. So when you're dealing with legal activities, you have to be on top of your game, knowing that the police coming for you, knowing that guys who are your enemy coming for you. But sometimes you just wouldn't know it because, it got set up. So, yeah. So, let me see what else I can finish say. So, like I say, they don't. So when Mr. Reid made that statement, I understand where he's coming from, but a lot of people criticize him for what he's saying. That's the end part, Mr. Reid. That part where police come and put pressure on you, put charges on you. Sometimes you don't even do the offense. It's true. Yes, because when the police can't get you certain things, you're a high-profile criminal, and you're always being investigated for numerous matters. The police always going to point to you because they know that you have a group of 100 individuals or 200 or 300 individuals around you. And sometimes these individuals get locked up and they give the police evidence, like, they link to you in some type of way. Now, the police might not have enough evidence to convict that particular individual. But if you read the comments made by officers who was investigating the same young gentleman who lost his life, all right? In the news, in the Facebook, in the Facebook information that was shared on Facebook, one of the senior officers was saying that every time they went to this particular young gentleman's house, it seems that like he was a step ahead of the police. And every time they went to go to his house, they said that he was on the porch waiting for them. And they were saying like he had some type of inside information. Okay? So they say every time they went to him to question him or any particular matter, they're saying that he would be outside on the porch with a blanket on him, waiting on them. So that means that he's getting information from, I don't know what they're trying to say, but it's in the newspaper. Read it. It's in the newspaper. It's in the newspaper. But, again, going back to Dr. Carlos Reid, Mr. Reid should know that the police will charge you or question you for a lot of incidents that happen in the country. Okay, I got sent to jail for about 2-3 weeks on attempted murder charge that I did not do. Someone else did it, who was a part of the crew. They did it. I had my alibi. They know it wasn't me, but they saying I always getting away. So they send me for a ride at 5, okay, free, and they had no evidence. They just tell me, Uchi, you always getting away. We sending you to jail, and they send me to jail on a bogus attempted murder charge. You understand? So yes, Mr. Reid, you're right, but again, you're not going to be targeted by the police unless you are involved in some type of illegal activity. If you're not involved in illegal activity, you only get pulled over for traffic stop once or twice, unless your car ain't licensed, all right? But in this case, constant police, I don't have no evidence, but the young gentleman could have been involved in illegal activities, and that's why the police keep putting pressure on him. Sometimes they might have questioned him with certain matters and about certain individuals getting killed in the country, and like they say, once your name called and you connected, even when you are let free and you're not charged with that particular murder, us as Bahamian, we can say he had something to do with it. So even though he got acquitted, got investigated, got released freely, he or she, we as Bahamian individuals who live on the streets, who, like I say, have a mental health disorder, that's how we think, because we are a conflict zone, okay? And that's how we think. Violence is our response. And that we always think negative. So yeah, but the bigger problem is how it developed for that individual to be a non-progressive citizen in the country. It's because something happened in their community, something happened in their life that changed their lives. It's they must have a great mom. They could have a great mom. Father figures not that they don't have a stable home, or the inner city community that they reside in has, no potentials of developing the aspiration of the generation growing up. Means no small business, no educational programs, no sports program. The community is just free for all. Means that over the course of the year, people only seeing murders happening in their streets, dysfunctional home, robbing and fighting from brothers and sisters and friends. Again, each of these communities, you could go in. Grandstand has murderers, Camp Road get murderers, Baintown get murderers, Fox Hill get murderers, Marathon get murderers, Fort Charlotte get murderers, Fox Hill get murderers, Fox Hill Prison get the most murderers. You understand? In the prison as we speak right now. That's why when you're hearing on the voice note recording, you'll hear some individual teasing a next individual, say, pick your body up off the road. You got a lot of murders in jail. You got a lot of murders on the streets. Every community in the country has guys who are murderers. Okay? Every community has them. And the only thing that cancels them out is that either they kill one another, or they get locked up on remand, okay? Or they get sentenced to a very long time in prison. But every community in the country get murderers. Every community get hot boys. So don't care how you put it, you ain't gonna win this. Be only 21/7, there's no way you could hide. And once you hurt somebody in this country, once you take somebody's life in this country, hey, the police don't have to get you, okay? It's just the natural rule of order. The Father said, if you live by the sword, you will die by the sword. Okay? Simple as that. But for a young gentleman to get to that stage, he, as well as thousands of Bahamians come before him, of being deprived of an opportunity to have a vibrant community. And that's the bottom line. Okay? Ain't no top guy in this country, top gangster or top killer. How long you think it'll last in this country? Huh? Let me ask you. How long do you think you're going to last in this country? I don't care how much people you done kill. I don't watch them come and go. I watch them come and go. The serious is that. Some ain't so serious. And all gone. Y'all ain't even die old aging. Huh? Some of y'all even die 90 or 100 or 80 or 105 or 110. Some of you guys, them dying at 35, 36, 37, 22, 21. You know? It ain't making no sense. You can't win this. My advice to guys out there, just take a look at yourself. You know? You ain't gonna win this. You will lose. Once you pull that trick and you hurt somebody out there, there's a karma. You see how you call it? Listen, let me share with my friends there in the grandstand community. Just listen to this. All were gang leaders, all were hard boys. Let me start off again. Julian Woodside was my cousin. He got killed. Okay? He was a leader as well. Samuel Musha McGinsey, okay? He got about 20-something shots, okay? Jawan Pender, who's a run Freeport, and this is one of the biggest gangsters in Nassau, who the country, the police knew about, Jawan Pender in Freeport. Okay, he got killed with his son in his hand. You had, let me see. Let me start. You got Tony, got killed. You had 6, David Duncan, he died of complication of gunshot. Okay? You had Douglas Johnson, Dog, they had a complication of gunshot. Okay? You had Popeye Penn, died a gunshot. My cousin again. Julian's my cousin, Popeye's my cousin. You had, you had, you had Bodyguard. Okay? He got killed in a double murder along with Joey. Right? His brother Lem, Bodyguard, what it's called. His brother Lem Fernando got killed one corner away. You had my cousin Charlie, you had my cousin Spy, who got killed by OK Bar. And the guy who killed him got killed about 1 minute later from the police. He killed Spy, shoot Spy in his head, and he ran right around the corner and he ran into the bus of police. And the police killed the killer who killed the Spy. All right? Spy brother Charlie. Okay? Spy brother Charlie. He got killed 2 corners away from where his brother got killed. Okay? You see how much brothers they talking about? You had brothers Ronald Bummer Pratt, Don Pratt. Brothers got killed. Okay? All these was my friends. You had Nelson Cooper, who Carlos Reed Hula. Nelson Cooper, basketball tournament, now he called it Peace in the Street. He got killed. Okay? He was one of the leaders of the Border Boys. Okay? And there's so much more people. You had John Vick. John Vick, who was doing all the shooting, he came with a grandstand. You had Skever. His mother, Pinky, came from grandstand. Okay? He got killed. You understand? And I could go on and on of people who were involved in gangs who got killed, who were part of the Border Boys. You understand? You're not gonna win it. So my encouragement to young guys out there, try, get yourself to do something positive, because you're not gonna make it in this life, you know? And through the lack of community development, that's how many of our young men end up in this position. So Mr. Reed was right on what he was saying, but that's the back part. That's what you inherit, okay? But the character development, the opportunity is to have a better life with small business, education is not being provided in our country. That's why the revitalization that the Prime Minister talking with a 10-point plan, I think that's most important. I can come back and talk about the fire incident. Go ahead, caller. You're on Inside in the City.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm fine.
So you talked about the bogus charge. So were you ever convicted? Did you serve time?
Listen to this. I'm going to say this to you. I'm one of the very few ones in the whole community who never spent time. I was remanded 2-3 weeks, but I was never sentenced. I'm the one of few.
How? I mean, did you got a good lawyer, or how did that work
No,
out?
God protected me. I was very smart.
Wow.
You know, us as guys who in the criminal world, we enter that field, we are very smart and leave no fingerprints, try no, you know, all this stuff. We were very smart. I was very smart. I was very smart.
Right. So they didn't have the evidence.
No, there is no evidence.
Okay.
And that's
all
what most individuals do in this country. That there's no evidence.
Yeah. And was it just that one time that you were arrested in your whole criminal life?
Me? No, I was arrested. Listen, let me tell you. Let me explain this. I was locked up in my lifetime. I stopped getting locked up when I was like around 26, 27 when it changed my life around. I'd say I've been locked up over close to about 300 times on different times being locked up.
But never charged.
I was charged attempted murder.
No, that was just the one time that you were not convicted. Was that the one time you were charged?
No, I was charged with firearm too. I got convicted for firearm possession as well. There was a few other charges I got, but I was able to get probation and etc.
Okay.
Yes. But I've been locked up 300-400 times on serious matters and a lot of matters.
And did you ever experience police brutality?
I've experienced a lot of police brutality. When I first used to get locked up, I was a little afraid, but I got rough and tough. And when you get rough and tough, you're no longer afraid of the police inside the station. Even the police respect certain guys from the streets who are rough and tough. But
Right.
police brutality is real in the station as we speak now. That's one reason I have the show, to talk about my past experience,
Yeah.
to let you know what's
Yeah.
going on. In those stations, there are good officers and there are bad officers, but there's a lot of abuse going on in those stations. And they make a lot of the
Yeah.
guys on the streets even rougher and tougher.
Wow.
I could go on and tell you a lot of matters that I witnessed in my own eyes in the station at the time period I was there. I know they're trying to make some changes now, but the abuse is really terrible and horrible in those stations. Sometimes there are good officers now who would look out for you, but you get some officers in there who mistreated you, just like the female we saw the other day who asked to use the bathroom, was recorded, and the protocol was broken by the officer when he took the video of the female and he denied her access to use the bathroom, and what she did, she defecated in the station.
Yeah.
And-
I heard of another situation like that where the person actually used the bathroom right there in the cell because they thought that they were just trying to get to the bathroom to probably escape or just kind of like just have an excuse to get out the cell. And they don't even come and offer you to clean it up or anything. You just got to sit there in your own mess.
We're a third world country. We need to up our standards in the country because we do treat people unhumanly in these stations. For instance, in these make things worse. There are things that goes on in those stations that making our country the way it is today.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? That's it?
No, I just was just curious.
Okay.
When I was a young student, we had a field trip.
Yes.
This would have been 87, maybe 86. We had a field trip to Her Majesty's prison,
Yes.
and they took us to the maximum security block, and also to the female side.
Yes.
And we went along death row, those who are on death row and convicted for murder and didn't have any chance of making bail, or not bail, but what's the word? Coming out of prison. They were pretty much sentenced for life, and that was just so inhumane. I mean, I was a young girl back then, and to this day, I remember the sound of that gate closing when we got into that holding center in maximum security. So they let you in, and then there's a middle piece before you go actually into the prison itself. I mean, that's how it was back then. I don't know if they've changed that, but I still remember the clanking of that gate against the lock when we went through, and we moved through to the bakery. We moved into the Taylor section. We saw the basketball in the court in the middle, and then we walked along the, I think, medium security, and then we went along what they call death row into maximum security. But man, the guys in there were telling us that they have a bucket to urinate and to defecate in, and they sometimes have to use that same bucket to drink water out of. It was just very horrible. On the men's side. The female side was a bit different. It was a bit more humane on the female side. It was more like just an open dorm with the bunk beds, from what I remember. Like I said, I was about 12 or 13, and I can still remember all of this very vividly. That should tell you how that impacted my life. I don't. Sometimes they talk about having these shows like where they actually treat you a certain way if you committed a crime. I don't necessarily know if I believe in that.
Okay.
But I think every young person in high school should have a tour of Her Majesty's prison.
Yes, that should be a part.
I think every young person, all the schools, they should make that a mandatory requirement, because I think that alone will probably deter. I mean, not all, but I think you may save some from the street from committing crimes, just from knowing what they would be up against if they did, in fact, commit a serious crime. I mean, that's just my view. But like I said, I still have a vivid memory of that experience.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yep.
I think that experience is what made you not want to go back there. I think that's what made me not want to go back to prison because when that slammed behind me and I spent like 2-3 weeks and I end up in my enemy cell, who was the leader of the rebellion raiders. I end up in Kelsey Dundee.
Deliberately.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
so some serious stuff, So thank you,
Oh
thank you.
yeah. That's a different world altogether.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And like I said, I was very blessed as well because God protected me so I could be in a position today to be able to talk about this experience, to help explain and tell the story so that many you could change the mindset of some who are listening because you're not going to change the mindset of everyone out there. But I just wanted to let you guys know that who in that field, there's no future for you in that. Trust me. All right? There are very few who walked out who saw that it come to the point that, hey, it could be me tomorrow. Yeah, you pull that trigger today, or you hurt somebody today, it could be you the very next month, next year, or next week, and then that could change your mindset to see that, hey, if you don't get out of the game, you're going to be gone out. And that's how it is, So I'm just encouraging young guys out there. You could think you're big and bad and shooting up the place and doing this and don't care what you don't care about this, you don't care about that. It don't work like that. You got other guys out there who doing the same thing as you, and they're gonna creep on you. So it's best to go in a positive way of life. That's the only way to go, so that you don't have to be looking over your back. Because I feel good as a young man, could walk the streets, walk anywhere, where no one troubled me no more. I could go anywhere I want. There's no one. I'm not looking over my back. I don't want to worry about the police. I don't want to worry about no one in the streets. I don't want to worry about nobody because I don't get in arguments and I keep to myself. And I'm trying to make myself a better place and turn myself into a businessman. I'm trying to open my restaurant. So I'm encouraging other young guys or their females out there, go into something constructive. You ain't going to win no war. You can't win it. All right? We're going to take this next call. Go ahead, caller. You're on Inside in the City.
Hey, bro, what do you say?
Good night.
My respect for you and I respect everything you say for the young people in this country. The only thing I have to say is that you have half of the country or 60% of the country listen to this station, but they more decent set of people who just listen to the country.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
listen to Guardian Radio.
Yes, sir.
I try to wonder how is it possible that you are able to reach the real set of people because they don't really listen to the radio like that.
Wow. Well, what I do a lot of other stuff as well too. So I know what I have to do, boss. I just try my best. You might have a suggestion for me. I laugh. He really wants a lot more people to listen to what I have to say, and I just tell him I'm a part of the Ministry of National Security. I'm a part of the Urban Renewal Board. And every time I have my opportunity to speak to Rotary or anywhere I go, like the IDB Bank, they're the places I go to really talk to them about these matters. They have given the government, like for instance, $21 million about 15 years ago to develop community centers around the country. And that's what's happening right now when you have a community centers. So there's a lot of people I talk to that I relay the information, my past experience to, that they see that this information that I'm giving to them is crucial, and how you can use it to try and change the direction that our country is headed, because it could take us at least 20 years to deal with this crime issue in this country. Because there are a lot of people out there who are mentally ill. Poverty has made them mentally ill in this country, And it's going to take us a very long time to really change their mindset. And the only way we're going to do that is by really developing the inner city community, okay? And I want to talk about the fire real quick. Let me talk about revitalization, right? Building up community. I've been saying this for a very, very long time, about what needs to happen. Revitalizing the community means that house fires that claim the life of this 12-year-old boy, right? Montana Ferguson, and condolences to the family. Fire extinguishers, smoke detectors, training from the Royal Bahamas fire branch in the schools and in the community is the most important when we talk about revitalization in the inner city community. These are things that are lacking. Urban renewal, the function of urban renewal, okay, is to go door to door and bring the initiative of fire extinguishers, teaching the kids, who are going to be left unattended to because their parents are going to go to work and there's no one to watch the kids. So they're using the stove, okay, and they're kids. And sometimes they forget, and then some couldn't get catch because it ain't in a proper position. And then sometimes the gas stove is just explode, naturally. So if we have fire extinguishers that could be dispersed, house to house, door to door, along with fire extinguishers, and we teach the kids them, and we teach the elderly persons how to use the fire extinguisher in these inner city communities and the country abroad is most important, based on how the unlivable condition many Bahamians are living in the country today. We don't have fire extinguishers. And then the fire branch response time. There was just an incident a few weeks ago where hotel burned down, and it took the fire branch so much time to respond, 20, 30, 40 minutes and et cetera. Then there was a fire on the Family Island the other day, with fire response reading in the newspaper took about 40 minutes. That's, I don't understand this, So when we talk about revitalization, we're seeing all this rectifying of candidates. Who is going to implement these programs, these initiatives? These initiatives are going to be slapped aside, throw aside, because these things are not important, but they are important. But where the Prime Minister, and when Michael Pentard, he becomes the Prime Minister, if he becomes the Prime Minister, he himself will be distracted. Crime is only gonna come up when an incident like this top gangster get killed, or the shooting the other day where we see the young boys some jump under the car and kill about 2 individuals and shoot about 4 more. When the Foxhill scene where about 3 people get killed and about 6 or 7 people get shot. But all of these scenes are the same scenes, just different people, same act. So that means we have the same problem. It's just different people. So that means the people themselves is a copycat. That means we've been programmed. That's how we act. Means that if you look at all the murder scenes, they're basically similar, just different people. Some cases, same people, but you ain't gonna last long enough. So there's only 21 by 7. No top dog will make it in this country. Y'all can forget about it. All you guys who talk me all hot and this and that, blah, this and you don't kill this and do that, you ain't gonna make it. You ain't gonna make it. There's a price to pay. That's the price to pay. You ain't gonna make it. I don't care how much people you kill or how much money you get or who you think used to bother us. It don't work like that. There's a karma. What goes around comes around. You can start off your life. You might come from a bad community, bad family. That don't mean you have to keep it up. When you get your little warnings and you see hurting people, change your life as you grow. You're 16, you're 17, you're 18, you start to realize things, you get 19, you get 20, you want to keep on getting shot at, you want to keep on shooting at people, you want to keep on hurting people, you want to keep on beating up your girlfriend, you want to keep on switching women, you want to keep on vibing with your friends, gossiping with your friends. It ain't going to work. You're going to get takeout. Look at all the top niggas I talk. All the top dogs got takeout because of their friends. And only because that caused karma. If a lot of those guys were living today, these guys were natural leaders. Why in the country the way it is now? No leadership. Because all the guys who had the experience, even though some of them got killed on the streets, like old dog, and some cost it on themselves. Some of them cost it on themselves because a lot of people be digging their own grave. And a lot of you guys out there who picking trouble and shooting people for no particular reason, going to picking trouble, you're digging your own grave. I want you to believe it. You're digging your own grave. So back to the fire thing, you know. You have to revitalize the community. Vast investment have to be put in these inner city community. Vast investment have to be put in the prison. Okay? To stabilize the prison. Because, listen again, let me show you how serious it is. Okay. The prison on high alert, right? Young gentleman just got executed, right? You had a guy in prison on a video circulating in the Bahamas Correctional, right? And he in prison, and he's saying this particular message to a next inmate. So that means there are phones in prison, there are drugs in prison, okay? So we have to invest millions in the prison, and I think that, for me, I feel that the church need to come together. All you church people, the Crystal Council, I see y'all doing some programs, doing some initiative. You guys, get yourself together, and y'all go hit that prison, man. Y'all hit that prison hard. You hear me? Non-stop. Go up there and talk to those brothers and sisters up there and provide some Jesus Christ up there. Okay? Go up there and help them. Because them prison officers need help, and them prisoners need help. Because every time some of them young gentlemen who come with the prison, they come back and read half a grade back on our streets. So if we're able to reach them in the prison and be able to have revitalized community, means that we have community centers, we have small business, we have the homes repair in the inner city community, we have small businesses developing in the community from residents in that community who are poor now get an opportunity to get a small business loan to start that small business in the community. That money is going to trickle down. And what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to start helping one another and be able to talk to one another more better and solve a lot of the problems that the government can't solve. Now we could solve them ourselves because a lot of us now will be empowered to. We know what the problem is in our community. We know some of that risk kids in our community. So we could get together as a community now and we could solve a lot of these problems that are occurring in these communities and stop it before it happens now. And that's what we're going to have to do. That's why I say it's going to take us 20 years, I feel. But the 10-point plan of the Free National Movement and 10-point plan of the PLP, which is similar, that is being run from the inception, that I've been sitting on the table being given these advices to both governments over the years. It's just that we need a continuous program. And we got to know on how we're going to initiate it. What are we going to do first? We're going to fix the homes. We're going to bring small business in there. We're going to bring the Bahamas technical BTVI. We're going to bring bombs in there. We're going to utilize urban renewal to go on door to door to bring the fire extinguishers, to give them what information, the residents and the kids, host to host, information on the fire extinguisher, how to use the fire extinguisher, what will happen if a fire occur, what to do, what number to call, who to call. You know, these are things we're going to have to work on. A lot of these fires that are occurring now, probably if the neighbor have a fire extinguisher or a fire hose there that set up in these particular homes that are close netted, you know, especially with these one burner stoves that are causing a lot of problems in the country. Those same stoves that you see that they sell for $40 and the can of gas costs like $2.50 or $3, they're causing the most fire in this country because the average Bahamian cannot buy a stove and cannot afford to pay the price to put the gas in the gas tank. So a lot of Bahamians don't even want to have a fully gas stove. And if you have a fully gas stove living in these inner city communities, I think that we should have the proper equipment coming from our government and our urban renewal that helps us get stronger. You know, like I said, emergency response numbers. We teaching the kids on a regular basis. You're bringing the fire branch in the community. You pick a street, you pick a spot, and you say, you know, you teach them that if you're in the house and fire start, you can use the fire extinguisher, or how to out the fire, or what to do. Look for open window, open door, to get yourself out. You know, make sure that whoever is in the house that you give a account number to make sure that everyone leaves the house, if it's possible, because we only get prepared. We only get prepared, but it's better to be prepared than to not be prepared. Okay. So there's some of the recommendations that I feel that we can do. Initiative of both governments, both governments of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. When they talk about a 10-point plan, like I said, I believe it could be effective, but we really need to get the fire extinguisher in each house. We need to get the smoke detector in each house. And again, train the kids. And then if, down the line, if we could get a daycare in the city community to look after the kids, it could be government or private in each community, to look out for kids and stuff like that, who parents got to go to work or going to be left roaming the streets, At least they could drop them off to the daycare center that's been provided by government or the private sector, in these communities. So we really need to revitalize the inner city community. We need to rid the community of abandoned cars, abandoned houses, and beautify the community and give us a sense of pride again in this country. And I hope that the leaders of this country, who are looking to lead as well, understand that they have a great opportunity to serve, but it can't be for party. It has to be people first, because people need you. People want leadership right now in this country, okay? I'm doing my little smart part in my community, and it's a very tough task. But, with God's guidance, slowly but surely making some progress. And hopefully by this year end and by next year, if God spare life, I think that we'll be moving more in the right direction as to really start empowering people with small business in the inner city community that I reside in. Yeah. So yes. So again, the young guys out there, all the top guys. One of my arch enemy, he's serving 35 years in prison, top dog in the country, and it's a losing battle, Just take a look at life and people, these guys, y'all take a look at life, man. I tell you the day I realize and I stopped doing foolishness is when I tell you with my friends, but not only that, I see guys out there was doing the same thing what I was doing, and I say, hey, this ain't making no sense. I ain't gonna make it. I ain't gonna live. I couldn't possibly live, because you got other guys with that bad just like you thinking the same way you thinking. And one day they're gonna get you. You call it slipping. It's not slipping. It's just that you are a human. Whether you are a person involved in illegal activity or violent crimes, you still want a life. You still have a life. You still want a life. You wanna walk the road with your daughter. You wanna go to the theater, even though these things is a little dangerous. But you're gonna slip. Not just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And there are some people are blessed of never being locked up in their life. Some people have had cars for like 40 years, have never catch a leak in their tire. You have some people who never been sick in a day in their life. You have some people who never row with nobody in their life. Why is that? It's the life you choose. So when Mr. Reid was talking about what he said earlier about the individual who lost his life, I know the individual too, young guy who lost his life at 37, he talked about, how the police was coming at him and et cetera. I just like to say this. You decide your own destiny. Even though you were denied a lot of opportunities, the community is impoverished. And then what you see is what you become in these inner city communities. That's why we see so many guys, come out so violent, because it's what they see. And they never had the right guidance. right tutoring, right teachers, besides school. They go in a life of crime, and once you go in a life of crime, the police target you. And once the police target you, you get your enemy is who you vibing with, and you also get the police. But in that period of 10, 15 years, if you're living, and you have not accomplished nothing, do you think if you keep that lifestyle up, do you think you're going to still be living? No. Let me tell you something, and I'm going to go on this. Samuel Muje McKenzie was one of my best friends. I became a bystander after I came with the gang life. And I started to go into positive activities. And then, it was Muje time. He took over the gang. And he had a next crew of guys around him. A lot of killers. And he attracted negative attention. He attracted guys coming at him, shooting at him. He attracted police coming after him. He attracted people coming to him with their problem, and then he getting mixed up in something that is not even his problem. Because, when you, the leader, everyone comes to you looking for guidance, and then you have to be able to say, let some things be. But he just jump up and do anything. Here's what he told me. Before he passed away, and my friend Marvin Sayers could tell you this. Before Muje passed away, Samuel McKenzie, and they considered him and Stephen Dye-Stubbs at that time the two baddest man in Nassau, New Providence, which in you had other guys who were a little rougher and tougher than these guys. Trust me. These just name brand guys. But you had other guys out in the streets of Nassau who was more dangerous than these individuals. You understand what I'm saying? They were dangerous, but I'm saying that these were the set who's in the media. But you had other guys just like them in different communities around town, and I knew this. Okay? And they had them two classified as the two baddest man in Nassau, New Providence. Now, remind you, Ian Ari was living as well. All right? So, Muje got shot at by his residents in Michael Road. Two guys pull up on 600. Now, this, the big bad Samuel Muje McKenzie, who done take life, right? Train other guys to take lives, okay? He has a whole clique of guys at his disposal. He got at least 50 shooters at his disposal, probably, or more. At his disposal. I'm telling you, real life BMing people, okay? At his disposal. When I go see him as a bystander, he have all these guys around him, and all of them get AR-50 and 9mm shotgun, whatever you could name. And I was the only guy could have stopped him, like talk to him and stop him from doing violent acts, okay? So he told me one day, he said, he tired. Listen, just before he got killed. Just for you guys out there who bad and you in prison and stuff like that. He told me, say, big brother, say, I tired, man. I said, man, how you mean you're tired? He called my son. My son was just about 1 year old, just born. My son 19 now. All right? I said, well, my son, I was selling crack cocaine, so I was doing fairly good. All right? Man, I telling me we had to follow the voice, but he came back and apologized to me. I forget to tell you all that. He came back and apologized to me and said he didn't know his brother came there to do that, to Harry Bowes and to me. So anyway, he called me and said, man, big brother, I tired, man. I said, what you tired of? I want to go back to jail. All right? Because Samuel Muje McKenzie was going in the boys' industrial from he's 13. Okay? 12, 13. All right? He being going to prison for like basically from 13 straight to 35 to 40. All don't lie, but 30, 31, 32. So basically half his life he spent in prison. He used to come out like every 2 years on an armed robbery charge or he get a murder charge. Every 2, 3 years he come out. All right? And he been locked up for numerous offenses over the years. And he came to me and he said, "Big brother, I tired." I said, "What you tired of?" "I tired of getting locked up. I tired of all these guys coming around me and I was getting them." I said, "You're a fool, bro." I said, "Brother, listen to me, man." I said, "You got to know when the year's up." I said, "You could go right around the corner right around there and you could open one nice dope shop." Listen, I'm talking street talk to you. You understand? And I say you could go around there and make as much money as you want. You don't have to be out there getting yourself in wall and all these beef and war and stuff like that if that's what you want to do. I say you could go through and control the corner. And you could control the corner without even using your wallet. I say, "You know who you is?" I say, "Man, you a nigga. You can make up the clothes to put $5,000 or $2, $3,000 a day just selling your weight. But you always jumping up and grinding and getting other people to business." I see. "You know what I had to do?" So he asked me, "How you do it?" I say, "You know how I do it?" I said, "This is how I do it." I say, "Remember the time when you and your brother and the next individual on my Harry Bobs?" Right? I say, "You see when you go on a Harry Bobs?" And I say, after that, I say, "I ain't to you no more. I ain't to you no more. I ain't to nobody in that community. I mean you guys no more." I say, "And to me." I say, "When y'all go then get a problem, I ain't supporting you guys no more. I on my own run." All right? I say this. I say I on my own run. And I say, "I ain't to none of you guys no more, man. You understand?" I say, "I have a life to live and I can make my own decision." And I told him this. I said, "To hell with you, to hell with Chucky, to hell with Bummer." And that's how I go. And I say I had to cut y'all off in order for me to be free. And I had to start to be a man. I ain't no more boy, no more to be hanging around no group of guys no more. I told him this. I told him this, And some things a lot of the charges that he got charged with, he didn't do all those. But it comes with the name. So if the name keep on ringing on the streets, what do you think the police is gonna do? They're gonna come check you. And if you beat a lot of cases, they're gonna throw something on you just to get you off the streets. And then what's gonna happen is then you're gonna be getting questioned for murders and stuff like that. Some of these murders you might not even do. But now the individuals who see you get locked up, and here you get questioned with these things, they think you do it. You understand? And now you in a heap of can, and this 21/7, you're not gonna make it. I see Mr. Happy Knowles is calling me. Yeah. So, I just want to encourage guys that you're not going to make it. The top gangsters in this country have got killed on the streets. Ian Harry, Samuel Mushi McKenzie, Tang Dog, Maran Mortimer, Julian Woodside, Lincoln Butler, Jewett Pear, Nelson Cooper, Sean Isaac, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. So what makes y'all think y'all ain't gonna be a number or name? Yeah, so yeah. So that's my 2 cents. All the guys around our corner who live in the Grandstand and Hay Street area, who I grew up at, who all of us are gangsters. All are dead, none die of old age. Chris, you already saying? All them brothers, Ronald Boomer Pratt, Don Pratt, dead. Lem, bodyguard, and they daddy, they had a gunshot. All right? Every guy who I basically hang up around the corner with who was a top gangster, all dead. None reached 50. None reached 45. All dead. So the life, when you go out and you pick trouble, trouble will follow you. So my best bet is to you, don't go out and cause no enemies. Okay? If you could reason with somebody and if you could reason with somebody and you have a problem with somebody, you could reason with them and you can apologize. If you do that. But keep yourself from getting in conflicts, okay? Because you ain't gonna make it. You know, so many guys, they're making the same mistakes over and over. They get this little thing, get to their head. I tell you, I had to run so much times in my life, in my own life. And the majority of the time, listen, I have to dive. As big and bad as I thought I was, and many of us, like I tell you, all my friends got killed. Look at that, right? Still had to dive. You have your gun on you. Your gun can't save your people. Listen to me, sometimes you can't even yuck your gun out. You can't even, sometimes your gun's stuck. You know, sometimes you panic. You know, things just go wrong, you know. Friends just go against friends, you know. Listen to me, I don't like to think nothing much of myself, right? It's not about a bragging right. I don't think as much people being in more shooting incidents in the country than what I experienced when I was living in Grand Center, how many times I was involved in so many different shooting incidents in our community, because we used to have it every day, all right? And in our neighboring community. And there were so many dangerous other guys out there just like us. So you gotta make better choices. If you think you big and bad, you're out there hurting people, your day will come. Prison will slow you down. But if you continue to do wrong, hurting people, your day will come. And you know who caused it? You. Trust me. You hear all the names I call? And there's many more names. And all these guys I talking about is big top dogs. And some of y'all is puppy. Some of y'all ain't even on the level of these individuals who died. When you're talking about badness, on. So what makes you think you're not going to be next? Try to live a positive life, you know. I changed my life around because I know I wasn't going to make it. All right? I know I wasn't going to make it. So again, I hope that urban renewal, 10-point plan, both Free National Movement and PLP, it helps to bring initiatives like bringing fire extinguishers to the homes, training programs, also put smoke detectors in the homes, in these inner city homes. Also, urban renewal could also put up cameras, door to door. They had a camera program going on where they want to install on each home cameras on the inner city community homes. They could start these type of programs, but they need good community leaders who they could work with, who can make sure that the initiative remains a priority. Our prime minister is too busy. Okay? He is. You know, Brave Davis is too busy. And we are people. If you don't think you have a country to save, then you look around and see all the problems we face in this country today. So, just a reality show. And I just want you to know that. You know, I respect a certain young gentleman too, you know, who slip himself out too. You know, my boy Elroy, who I saw give a shout out to the radio once in a while too. He was one of those guys too, you know, who changed around his life, you know. And like I said, if you don't make these choices, you're gonna. God give you chances and warning. But if anyone out there who out there hurting people, and think you bad, hey, one day your time will come. Change your lifestyle. Change the way how you think towards your brothers and sisters. Sometimes give a person a blight if you could. And stay away from individuals who dealing with illegal activities. Okay? Because the company you keep and how you live your lifestyle decides on the way on how you're going to live. Remember, I tell you, some people never catch a tire flat. Some people never been locked up with the police. Some people have never been sick. Okay? Some people have never been in an argument. Because it's their training. They learn how to avoid conflict, and then they have the blessing of God because He protects them. And there ain't no one in this country the police is going to target, right? Unless you involved in illegal activity in the country. Okay? So, I'm your host, Valentino Brown, a.k.a. Scrooge, host of the talk show Inside the Inner City. It comes on every Friday at 6:30 to 8 p.m. And again, like I say, what goes around comes around. Who you think is a friend will one day become your enemy. And as long as you're dealing with wickedness, you will have problems. And your best friend, or who you think is a friend when you're in that world, will betray you. Okay? So it's better to go and make yourself to be a productive, positive citizen in this country. Stay away from bad company. Okay? So I'll see you next week.